Hello, I'm Jacqueline Holstead, and you are listening to On Point Conversations. In this podcast series, we share creative marketing, content, and branding strategies that help your business successfully navigate the new normal marketing environment. Today in my podcast, I want to talk about the employee process, the employee journey. As most of you know, as you're in marketing professionals, you have probably already mapped, you have one in place, or maybe you're working on one if you have a new employee, a new, head of CEO or something, but you work on the customer journey. So the customer journey then takes the customer through the buying cycle, basically. So it takes them from, the awareness that they actually have an issue that they need solved, and then interest, desire, research, user, and evangelism. So you have that that customer journey. Today, I want to talk about the employee journey, because the other strategy that should be in place is a really effective employee experience strategy that includes the employee engagement, which again includes that journey, because you start at the beginning. So it's very important for new employees that as our leaders are introducing them to the company's purpose and values, and especially the culture, that we make that engagement a positive, good engagement. And today what I'd like to talk about are some ideas for the best kind of employee engagement that builds a company experience that will, and our goal is to lead to happier employees, accelerated performance so our companies do better, and increased retention. And I've been in a lot of meetings lately about retention. How do we retain employees? This is as long as they're staying. How do we get them to stay longer? So many of those types of questions. So first, consider that up to 20% of new employees can leave they can leave anytime, but they leave within the first 45 days of a job. Now that's not very much. 45 days is not much of a time period at all. So it's really vital for us as leaders to offer them more than trendy perks, like, the pinball machine or healthy snacks or a state-of-the-art health and wellness program. We need to present strategies that engage them from the employee's first day through the weeks and months ahead. I don't know about you, and it's been a long time since I've been in a first day in a new company because I've owned my business a long time. But I've had experiences where I get there and there's no desk. I get there where the receptionist says, I didn't know we were hiring another employee. Great, welcome. Or I have no computer the first day or no technology. I don't have a phone system set up. There's so many things, and I just feel like I've walked into kind of a unprepared environment. And that's not a good way to start. So if you, and I'm sure that you do, if leaders expect high performance and productivity from your new employees, which you should, then as leaders, we need to really make that extra effort to engage them from the moment they arrive on campus, or if they're working remotely on Zoom. Anyway, their very first day. You want to make them feel special from day one. They've now been hired, and many times companies will think, I've hired, now they're in, let's go. Well, that's not going to keep someone very engaged. So leaders should not only focus on the way they hire people, but pay attention to the way they onboard those new hires. And to really engage your employees, you need to focus on employment engagement activities from day one. You don't want them to show up and discover again that they don't have a desk or a computer assigned to them, or nobody knows they're coming. That really sends the wrong message. And we want to instead make sure that new employees start the very first day engaged with a functional working space, company supplies, and even some maybe branded things like maybe a coffee cup to welcome them to the team. Maybe, I don't know, what kinds of things make them comfortable. If leaders expect high performance and productivity, which I said that's what you expect from new employees, then it takes extra effort and extra time to make sure that that moment they arrive, they feel like they're part of the company and part of a bigger picture. So prepare an itinerary for their first day. and include things like scheduled onboarding training, even things like where the bathrooms are, where the coffee room is, or where the cafeteria is, or where things are so they're acclimated to their environment, as well as those one-to-one introductions and activities with other team members. And when you're doing those one-to-one introductions, like I've had those done before, stop by an office, they knock and say, hey, can we interrupt for a minute? This is, Jacqueline Holstead, and this is so-and-so, and this is what she does, or what they do. But there should be a scheduled time so they could say, why don't you come in and sit for a few minutes? Let's talk a little bit, here's, and talk just a little bit to get to know each other. The second thing is be sure that you're communicating your company purpose and values. Now, that should have been also communicated in the hiring process, but the next step now is because you want to make people passionate about their work, you want to make sure they're connected to your vision and your purpose. And that starts by communicating the mission and core values. It also starts, and this is even more of a key, by explaining how those individuals and the work they do is going to contribute to the greater organization purpose. So they're part of a much bigger picture. So to help new employees gain a deep connection to the company purpose, they need to understand the corporate culture. So really create experiences so they can understand how teams operate, how team members communicate with each other. It changes. It just changes. I know in my work, because I work with different clients, I'm always making sure up front that I know how they communicate together, when they communicate, what kind of the rules they set up for their team are, and the types of messages that leadership delivers. That's another thing to communicate. So outlining these desires, behaviors, and expectations can help reinforce how they are part of something bigger. And that's important. So keep that in mind. Another strategy is to connect with new employees often. Now, you might be saying to me, as I sometimes say, I just don't have the time. You need to make the time, because this is like planting seeds, and you plant seeds and you see them grow, and you might not feel like right away things are moving and growing fast, but they will grow faster if you're taking care of them. So it's really critical for leaders to get to know employees on a kind of more personal basis to help them feel part of the team. And this means getting to know things like their preferences, how they like to work, maybe finding out what keeps them motivated, what helps them perform their best. You can even, if you can and if it's comfortable, talk about things outside the work environment, like what are your hobbies, what's your favorite beverage. And as I said, ensuring that leaders connect with those new employees often. And there might be things like connecting new employees to a mentor or a peer group so they feel connected to other new colleagues. And they can also ask questions rather than doing it in a big meeting. They can ask questions to their mentor or their peer group that helps them be in company and be more belonging in the company. Connecting with an employee early and often, again, provides a happier employee. But it's not only going to do that, it should increase the chances of feeling at ease and feeling like they belong, and therefore being more productive, being more a part of the team, expressing their opinion more, and the things that using their experience so that they feel like they can open up and express what they feel is a good way to go, and that it can be heard. Oftentimes I'll hear employees say, well, I've only been here for 30 days, so I've only been here for a week. And we kind of want to get away from that. Let them be a part of the team early on and give their feedback, because they came for a reason. You hired them for a reason. You hired them for their experience and their knowledge. So let them feel comfortable to express that. Another strategy is help employees set early goals. Organization cultures differ from one company to another, and I can say that because I've been in many companies. But when you want to consider how to improve that employment engagement ideas at your organization, really identify the purpose and setting goals that works within your company culture. So basically, once an employee aligns with the workplace culture and goals of your company, then start thinking about their personal goals, because employee happiness is partially tied to a sense of purpose. And setting those early goals can help them contribute to that purpose. Only 66% of employees feel a sense of purpose at their organizations. That's not very high. So work to give them a sense of purpose, and you do that by setting early goals that gives them that sense. Because when an employee doesn't understand how their performance is being measured, it can make them feel anxious or disengaged. And when they understand how their work is going to be measured, they tend to feel engaged and they experience a greater sense of achievement because they know when they've been able to make that step. Be sure to schedule regular one-on-ones. Again, I can hear you say, oh man, I have just a little time and these people work remotely and how do I schedule one-on-ones? It's important. These are conversations intended to establish progress, build trust, and get a sense of things like how the employee feels about their work hours, work-life balance, and mental well-being. You are checking in. It's a chance for leaders to tie both the individuals and the teamwork to the company purpose. It's a type of really transparent communication that helps the leader to ensure new recruits are fully supported during their first 90 days and beyond. You can use this time to talk about program with goals. You can praise good work. For remote workers, which I just mentioned a minute ago, one-to-ones can take place virtually through apps. I mean, there's like Microsoft Teams, and there are other apps. I know when working with various companies use different apps. You just find out which app they use and schedule a regular one-on-one. They want to be included too, even though they're working remotely. Appreciate your employees and celebrate success. I know if you've been part of a large organization, they pretty much have this, what they call an employee recognition program. They might even use software for it. So you want to appreciate your performances. Your superior performance is essential, and it helps employees to feel valued, recognized, and their work matters. In the long run, it does contribute to employee retention. In fact, there's a statistic. It says employees who claim their managers regularly acknowledge them for good work are 5 times more likely to stay. And, besides leader appreciation, there's peer-to-peer recognition is important to really helping those employees feel valued. And that should be, by the way, specific success or specific things about their performance that worked and that's valued. Celebrating work histories or work anniversaries is great. I don't always think it's kind of the best way, but it does improve engagement. That's been proven. And employees are more likely to be inclined to stay when a milestone or year-over-year accomplishments are recognized. So managers can build this company culture in significant ways when they focus on specific appreciation. So what I'm talking about is turning your onboarding into a regular experience with regular check-ins and feedbacks that goes beyond that 30, 60, or 90 days. Oftentimes a company will be good the first 90 days and then it stops. I'm talking about keeping that going. Never stop onboarding. Don't think of it as an expiration date. Instead, turn it into an ongoing experience with regular check-ins and feedback that goes beyond, as I said, those 30, 60, or 90 days. Because leaders need to remember that recognition for good work can happen at any time. And recognizing in real time during team meetings or team lunches will continue to inspire new employees through that first year and into the next. So don't forget to show appreciation, by the way, too, to employees who work from home via virtual celebrations. You never want to stop connecting, both with those team members and across the entire organization. And again, use things like peer-to-peer mentoring or special working groups. That can go a long way to connecting people and building that stronger culture. Last but certainly not least, stick to the plan. So the final step is to continually improve employee engagement by sticking to this plan. The long-term goals with every new hire includes greater motivation, increased productivity, and employee retention. And consistent communication is crucial for every employee engagement strategy. That's what leaders need to do. They have to choose to employ that. They have to choose to think about it. They have to choose to schedule it. They have to choose to have that top of mind. And whichever employee engagement activity you implement at your company, just follow through with your plan with every new hire. those tools like regular one-to-ones and employee surveys are going to help you gauge progress. And as you implement an onboarding process and you support employees by connecting them to purpose and recognizing their unique contributions, I think, I can't guarantee anything, but I know you're going to find some long-lasting success. So that's my podcast today. I hope this helped you. If you have questions, you can easily get me at conpointthinking.com and my contact page. And I look forward to hearing from you, and have a really great day. Thank you for listening, and I invite you to join me next week as we talk more about specific actions you can take to reach your own business goals. You can find my library of other inspiring podcasts like this one at onpointthinking.com. Again, thank you for listening. This is Jacqueline Holstead at On Point Conversations.